recap on diabetes. As we've talked about, this is Look Fat for Life, our nutritional session as we do on selected Saturdays at Family Practice Doctors. Diabetes, as we know, high blood sugars. Some people it's a genetic predisposition. For most of us, it is a diet-related thing. Okay? So, how do we run high blood sugars? Primarily, it is from what we eat. Okay? Bread, starches, basically. Candies, sweets, alcohol, sugar alcohols, right? Coke, so sodas, donuts, just some examples of in terms of what we eat. Ice cream. If somebody wants to gain weight and they're really, really skinny, of course I'm not promoting this. You can eat ice cream, you'll gain weight, okay? Rice, pasta, condiments. So therefore, I highly recommend you do not eat ice cream if you're trying to lose weight. Don't go into that aisle of the grocery store, okay? So what's all this schematic? I'm gonna go over it really quickly, just as a recap. The pancreas is the organ in the body that creates insulin. And the way we think about insulin, I think about insulin, and a professor taught me this way back when. I'm gonna date myself, but I'm not gonna tell you the year. A long time ago, as insulin as being a taxi. Insulin takes the sugar that we eat, the donut, it puts it inside it and brings it to the muscles so the muscles can use. Are we following? Okay, so therefore this is the bloodstream. We eat the donut. The donut or sugar from the donut gets metabolized, It goes into the bloodstream as sugar. In order for the muscles to use it, it has to get carried in by insulin. And insulin is the taxi that kind of gets it all in for the muscles to use. Now, if for some reason our cells are resistant to insulin, where we have either adult onset diabetes that we have impaired fasting glucose, like your blood sugars are running up in the 150s, and we don't even know you have diabetes yet because you've never been to the doctor, you haven't been to the doctor for years, then this is what's going on. Your cells are not responding to the insulin being produced by the pancreas, and then you come to the doctor, we're seeing that, okay, fasting blood sugar, you're running in the 140s, when you should be running under 100. So we're like, something's going on here. So we need to check and see whether you have pre-diabetes or whether you have diabetes, right? So normal blood sugar should be about under 100 fasting, okay? So now, the other thing we need to know is that cancer is a sugar analog. Glucose is sugar. In order for us to prevent cancers, I'm not saying this is going to prevent cancers, right? In order for us to keep cancer at bay and away, and so some of us cancers are of course genetic, but if we do not have a predisposition to cancer, in order for us to stay healthier, we need to cut down the sugars, okay? So turning on good genes, these are some of the things that we need to do to turn on the good genes, okay? And I'm just going to talk about these very briefly. I couldn't put it up on the board. Turning on the good genes, we want to eat things that turn on the good genes. Blueberries, spinach, salmon. I recommend that when you're eating your vegetables, you eat it as raw as possible if you can. And if you cannot, you're one of those people who cannot eat raw, you steam it. But make sure that it's the same color that you put it in. If it is pale green, you're eating rubber. Forget it. Make sure it's green. Okay, that's the whole point. You'll get the proteins are being denatured if you are eating it so pale that everything's coming out of it. Okay, and definitely do not add snow to your food. What do we talk about snow? Snow is the salt. Okay, that's just killing it. You're just adding on issues now with high blood pressure when you're adding on the salt. All right, now you see the scale? It should be that the good foods are outweighing the bad. Can you see that? The bad are the chips, the pizza, these. We all know what they are. Do we eat them sometimes? Of course. Are we going to pretend that I don't eat some of these? Come on now. I would be lying to say that I do not. Do I eat them in moderation? Absolutely. Do I try to have them rarely? Absolutely, because I know they're not good for me. Okay? Any questions? It's a wrap.